Welcome back. So I got two larger items for you in this video. You've seen this one before. I do have a sealed set of these cards, and that will remain sealed because I found this one already opened, still in good shape, and for a really, really good price. 142 card set, put out in 2003, of Jewish major leaguers. And these are guys that either had Hall of Fame careers, um, for example, Greenberg and Koufax, but also guys that may have played one or two games. It's a whole variety of players. It's 142. There were update sets that were made later on. I'm just going to pull out some of these and put that box to the side. So you have Koufax, Harry Danning, Moberg, Sammy Bone, Hank Greenberg, Al Rosen, Arnovich, and then some other harder guys. And the really nice thing about this set, I'm going to pull the lip pike out. Is obviously it gives you some information about the player on the back. So looking at Arnovich as an example. It also tells you what cards they happen to be on. This is especially important for guys like the really old timers, the 19th century guys, where this one, it only has him appearing in a modern set. There are no playing days items or cards that you can find of his. So, and then you have other ones where, let's see, Sammy Bone didn't have too many. Tells you what the rookie cards are. Arnovich didn't have a ton. Focus. So there's a few different key pieces of data, especially when collecting Jewish players. The other key resource for me, and I thank Michael Shane for bringing this to my attention, is this book, the Jewish Baseball Card Book. This is basically a bound version of this set. Put out a little bit later, I believe it was 2016 when this was put out, and I've marked some of the kind of cards that are in here, and you can kind of see some of the variety of Jewish players on the cover. But it's basically divided up into sections of, you have 19th century debuts, and it moves forward in time. So, as mentioned in the set, you have Lip Pike. There's really no playing days images of him that were released at the time, because you're talking about someone that played from 1871 to 1878, and then the 1880s. And then in some instances, you'll have like Ike Samuels. The only card that they have is from the set that you just saw. But to give you a better example, I'm going to flip to one of the guys I've been picking up here and there. It's kind of hard to find. Sammy Bone. Originally Samuel Cohen. There's some really difficult issues to find. And the interesting thing about being a collector in this specific field and having this book is I'm finding a lot of cards that I have in my collection. I've been fortunate enough to pick up. You have 2 pages for Moberg. So, perfect example here is all the playing days cards on this. I have the 33 Gaudy and 33 Worldwide Gum. I have the 39 play ball, the 40 play ball. I have the 29 cash-in, and then there's some more modern cards that have also been included in the photos for this. And then moving on, one of the more interesting players, Andy Cohen. Really only played 3 years in the majors. And that's 26, 28, and 29. But his rookie card is 1933 Goudey. So quite interesting there. Also has a 60 Topps coaches card. Minor league cards later on. I do have the 33 Goudey, I have the 60 Topps, and I have the 32 Warsh cigars. Which is very, very difficult to find. And of course, you have Hank Greenberg. So all the cards in front of you, I have been fortunate enough to pick those up before prices went through the roof. But it's Hank Greenberg, so we have multiple pages. All the cards on this page I have at least an example of. Maybe not in the conditions you're seeing in front of you, but I have examples of them. And then on this page, I have all but 2. I'm still missing the 34 Annis Furs and this particular Goudey, which I believe is either, this might be type 3 or type 4. Or sorry, should be a type 3 or type 3. Just, I think the hardest one, if I remember correctly. B-Raw 6 would know better than I, honestly. But that's the Hank section. It goes right into other players. I'm going to look at Harry Danning. Missing some cards of his, missing these 2 right now. Lost this one at auction not long ago. Have this one on the way, raw. Do not have this one. Have this, both this for plain and signed. Have this one. Do not have this one yet, although I've been looking at a copy of it. These 2 are modern, and then the 39 play ball I have as well. So that, again, this is, for me, this is the fun part because I can see kind of the different players, and it's a really good resource guide in case you're missing any players. Marjanovic, missing this one. This one will be on the way shortly, and I have this one. This is 41 Goudey, absolutely incredibly tough to try and find those. Kind of ridiculous how tough those are. And moving on, we have Al Rosen. Had a nice purchase today for cheap. And every once in a while I pick up some of his cards when I can find them. And I still try and pick up signed cards as well. And then the last player we'll look at, of course, is Sandy Koufax. Some of these I have good examples of. Sometimes some of these I have beaters of. This one I have a trimmed version. This one I have a low grade. This one I have a decent grade. I do not have this one. And on this page, have these 2. Have this in a poor grade, the Bazooka. Have these 3. And of course it's Koufax, so he's going to get a lot of space in this book. Have all these. And that's 55 through 63 on this page. And then 64, 65, 66. Never picked up this one. I have this one. And that's all that they have on Koufax. So I was just trying to give you a good example of some of the players. We'll flip through some of the more recent guys. They do have Bregman in the book. And then toward the end, you kind of have the gallery of Topps players. And of course, you got Kinsler has his own page, Youkilis, Ike Davis, Kevin Pillar, Bregman. It's obviously put out in 17. And then you have different countries. So that Venezuela Koufax do not have that one. 67 Topps Venezuela. Very expensive card. I actually have that Greenberg, 46, 47, Cuban issue. But there's quite a few different variations, different releases, just different fun cards. And I guess for a lot of people that may have thought that this was that focusing on Jewish players might be a little limiting, or they're not many, there's an entire book on them, and I will probably never find all the cards in here, especially the rare ones. But it's fun. It's a fun part of the hobby. It's I am a bit of a completionist, but at the same time I appreciate the fact that I will probably never be able to complete an entire collection of Jewish players, of all the cards and everything. Even just trying to get all the cards in this book is highly unlikely that I will be able to complete it, just because of rarity, because of cost. There's a whole bunch of different factors, but it's a fun kind of set to work on for me. And I know a lot of you have that specific team, player, what have you, that you have that same passion as well. And for me, that really does apply in the same way. Instead of a team, like Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies, whatever, I focus on the larger team of Jewish baseball players. And I do focus on individual players, as you know. So having, the primary focus is, as of late, with Greenberg being the top of the list, that's my primary focus. Are those 5 players. And there's a few other guys that when I see them for a good price, I pick them up. But, Koufax, Moberg, Al Rosen, Hank Greenberg, and Maury Arnovich. There's some really easy stuff to pick up, some really inexpensive stuff that you can find, but then there's some really, really tough ones to find, and really expensive ones that I just gotta hope that I can find one flying under the radar and pick it up for a steal, because most of the time that is the only way I'm able to get some of these cards. But that's the collection kind of overview without getting into specifics, but a couple of interesting pickups, at least from my point of view, and hopefully it gives you a little bit more information of kind of what I'm collecting and kind of the scale that we're looking at. It seems like it would be a limited pool of cards, of players, but there are just so many different players and eras and teams and rarities and commons and just everything that it just makes it really tough to A, keep track of, but B, find new things sometimes. Even though there's so much out there, when you're trying to focus on a specific player, it sometimes can be hard to track down. So there's kind of the give and take. Yes, do I want to have as close to a master set of these 5 players? Of course. But the likelihood of I'll ever achieve that, very slim. And the idea of having a master set of Jewish baseball players in general, I'm not holding my breath. So, again, those are the 2 pickups I had come in. Stuff that I kind of put aside just so I could put them together in this video, and give you a nice kind of overview of an insight into collecting Jewish baseball players. So, hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, please remember to collect what you enjoy what you collect, and don't let anybody, especially the market or YouTuber, dictate that to you. And most importantly, have fun. And have fun by being active in this community. So find your way of participating, whether it's making videos, watching and commenting, going to live streams, group chats, going to your LCS or local card show, or simply talking about the hobby with family and friends. The more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. The more you'll learn, the more your PC will grow, the more fantastic people you meet, and the more amazing friendships you'll form. So I thank you very much for joining me. Hope to see you again. Have a good one, and bye for now.